Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Americas VCT is really starting to take shape now in terms of which teams are going to make the playoffs. The storylines though are absolutely remarkable. Leviatan could miss out on making it, especially if they lose their final series. 100 Thieves could beat MIBR and still miss out if storylines don't go their way. Sentinels have a slightly better chance than they did a few days ago after their victory against Crew. Still going to be a big challenge though, and they do reckon that their new situation with Marved as the IGL, but everyone chipping in, is the way to go when they play Furia in a few days' time. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, quick update on the Pacific side. A couple of games went down yesterday. DRX went to 8-1 to close out their week. Well, close out their entire split, right? Beating T1, I believe, 2-0. I think it was the series. So, yeah, regardless, T1 qualify, DRX qualify. The other big series was Team Secret getting the victory against Global Esports. Good result from them, ending Global Esports' chances to qualify. They finished 3-6. Team Secret 5-4. That will be good enough for them to go through as well. So that's looking like your top 6, but still, Gen.G, man, they don't have anything in their own hands. If RIQ were to win their final series, Gen.G would be gone with only 4 victories. So that's going to be really exciting to see how that one goes. Also, though, in the Americas, Cloud9 versus Leviatan, man. First of all, Leviathan have also somewhat done a Gen.G. They started out super strong. Platcher had them, what, number 1 in their rankings for a time in the Americas, and they were looking great. Remember NRG back at Sao Paulo? They said that Leviathan were the best team that NRG had played against, but nowadays, that's not the case at all. Want to give credit, though, to Cloud9. Man, the comeback from this team, it's ever since they decided to get rid of Ye and Vanity in controversial fashion, has been remarkable. Jake has been great, don't get me wrong. I think Jake's done a very solid job, but Rooney, right, Wayne Rooney, as I called him for some time when it was being rumoured, is just unbelievably good. This guy's IGLing the team. I don't know where they're finding these players from. Like, the scouting in the Americas right now is insanely good, because Rooney was a player in the tier 2 side that got some attention, but not particularly so. Now he's coming into this Cloud9 team. He's in-game leading the roster, and he's delivering an unbelievable individual performances every single series he plays. It's actually incredible what he's done for this team. I think he's got to be the MVP so far, at least in terms of their turnaround. Now, on the other side, Leaf has been unlocked lately. He's playing like the prime Leaf that we see before. Even this 1v1 that he wins right here, Leaf. So, you know, King's trying to find Leaf in the corner. Leaf gets the job done. That's 12-4, and it's quickly 13-4. I mean, this series was a bloodbath. This was what M80 were doing in Challengers right at the start of the season, bowling everyone over 13-5, 13-5, and that's a 2-0 versus Leviathan. Cloud9, man, they are coming good.
Let's have a chance of winning.
That's another opener for
another one, yeah.
Another instance in which Taco just has to watch the rest of the round.
It seems like the game is just easy for Leaf. Like, he's just... Show me Leaf, show me Leaf. Look at her. He's just running around doing what he wants. He doesn't even have his hands on his keyboard or mouse. Bro, he's sitting there because the door's not broken. He just posted up like this.
Leviatan are in a weird situation where
posted up like
it
this.
feels, I mean, they need to get a win out of these next 2 teams. It feels like the deck is stacked against them. They have
that's too far. No, that's too crazy.
And then
AFK during the match
in their hands to clinch playoffs. Otherwise, they're going to
look at him. He's right. Sniping into his gun, bro. Oh my god, he's in such good form. Ever since he's come back to Duelist, because I feel like they took Leaf off of Duelist for a bit there, right?
Players on stage right
Ever
now
since he's gotten to you know, get back into that role, we're getting to see what he was before, because he was insane on Jet.
Even as Noyan says, what are you meant to do against Cloud9? It's been about 5 weeks since Rooney is in the team, already several steps ahead of everybody else from an IGL side, anticipates every move. They're super well set up for the situations, and it's interesting because right now, Cloud9 are looking like the best team in the Americas. Loud, yes, they still have a marginally better record, and possibly they'll still be the team to beat going into the playoffs, but right now, Loud just lost the other day. Cloud9 haven't lost in a long time, and they have secured for sure a number 2 seed. And if they were to beat Crew, which you'd think they should do, and if Loud lose to Leviatan, then they will be the number 1 seed. That's if Loud get 2 losses, Cloud9 only win 1 losses. That's how it's going to be. And also, Leviatan, with that massive defeat yesterday to Cloud9, they really needed to win that one, because beating Loud is going to be tough. Maybe it's actually more achievable right now beating Loud than Cloud9, but regardless, it's going to be a difficult series. is Loud usually do have, you know, they usually dominate their own dominion, let's say. And Leviatan could miss out because they lost to all of 100 Thieves, EG, and Furia. All the teams they could potentially tie with, they have the head-to-head loss against those teams. If there's a three-way tiebreak with Leviatan and two of these teams, they will not be winning that tiebreak, which is far from optimal, and we'll see what that looks like in a second. But another quick 2-0 for Cloud9, and as I say, they're right now looking like the best team in the Americas. Are they the best team in the world? I think that's a bit of a stretch. Fnatic obviously are the team to beat, but I'm looking forward to it because the way they're currently playing it, they will for sure make it through the playoffs. They'll be there at Masters Tokyo, and we'll get to see what they can do in a real pressure environment on LAN in front of a crowd when, you know, because right now, yes, it's still in front of a crowd on LAN, but it's not quite the same deal as playing at a big major tournament. Maybe that's when this team might stumble a little bit, but yeah, right now they're looking very difficult to beat. Leaf, Rooney, the star players of the series, and the fact that he's doing it on the IGL is absolutely incredible to witness. Quick note on Sentinels before we discuss their chances now, because the other day we heard their chances were 7%. Now they're about 10% maybe, and they get a bit better than that if they were to win their final series. We'll see in a second. There was also some comments coming out from Sentinels over the last couple of days on TenZ saying, look, we want to get to playoffs, it's not guaranteed to happen. And also some interviews were done with Kaplan, the new head coach, of course, for Sentinels, on his perspective on what's happening with the in-game leading situation of the team. There was an article on .esports, I'll leave a link for you guys down below, where he says, look, getting rid of Dephh gave an opportunity for everyone to chime in and say what plays they wanted to make and give Marved stuff to work with. It's gotten us to a place where we can feel we can make these confidence plays and come up with micro plays in the middle of a game. We have to avoid looking too stiff because we don't have an incredibly seasoned IGL to fall back on. It went from a want to a need for players to step up and have a voice. There were a lot of mistakes, but I saw players suggest things and counter-call each other and throw multiple ideas around in freeze time, and it was a welcome difference. So reckoning that, yes, they didn't beat Crew convincingly, but the way that they play is the idea around how their in-game leading is not really a one-man show, which it usually is, and probably is the most successful format, let's be honest, but sometimes it can work having multiple players come up with ideas. Marved is the one that has the executive decision, but in freeze time and elsewhere, the team, multiple players are making ideas and making calls, and that might well be optimal in terms of also the team chemistry side as well. But Marved has apparently stepped up instantly in terms of being the leading voice. He calls with confidence, energy, volume, and the right tone. Has really impressed me so far. So look, they've won one series, it was against Crew. The real test comes against Furia in a couple of days, and obviously that's a must win. This is now how it looks, and it's incredibly competitive here. 3 teams have made it: Loud, Cloud9, NRG. They are guaranteed. All of these other teams, 100 Thieves, Furia, EG, Leviatan, Sentinels, MIB are out of it as well as our Crew. But of these 5 teams, 3 will qualify, 2 will not. And it's really tough to say who is going to be who at the moment, because the issue the 100 Thieves have, they're 9-11 map counts. They have a negative round differential. They're 4-4. They could win their last series and still potentially fall out. And we'll explain how in a second. But also on the Sentinel side, they need to win and they need to hope things work their way. So this is how it stands. They had a 7% chance after losing to Evil Geniuses. After beating Crew, they now have a 17% chance roughly. And if they 2-0 Furia, they'll get to a 41% chance. If they 2-1 Furia, they'll get to a 23% chance roughly. So the 2-0 is massive because it will potentially give them the map count tiebreaker over Evil Geniuses if they were to get 2-0'd by NRG. Whereas if they 2-1 Furia, they're really relying on 100 Thieves to lose and to fall out. So this is the latest from here from DFA Montero, with Sentinels still having by far the least chance to make it. He puts it at roughly an 11% chance to make top 6. But yeah, Leviatan only 69 or so percent, Evil Geniuses 81, 100 Thieves only 71, Furia only 68 and 5, pretty much the same as Leviatan. So it's super competitive here. And this is how it looks in terms of if they win or if they lose their final game. If Sentinels win 2-0, 46% chance. If they win 2-1, 23 or so percent chance. If Leviathan, EG, Furia all win, they qualify guaranteed. But 100 Thieves can actually win their final series 2-0 or 2-1 and still lose. If Leviatan, EG, and Furia were to win their final series, 100 Thieves would not have enough, even with victory over MIBL, to get through, because they would lose all the tiebreakers in that four-way tie that would come down at 5-4. So it's absolute chaos, right? These are the tiebreakers, by the way. So if there's 2 teams tied, it goes head-to-head first of all. Even if there's 3 teams tied, it goes for head-to-head as well. So you look, basically 3 teams are tied head-to-head. Does any team have a 2-0 record against those other 2 teams? If they do, then they're the top of that 3-way tiebreaker, right? But if it's a 4-way tie, it doesn't bother with head-to-head anymore. It just goes to straight map differential, which is where Thieves might struggle, right? You can imagine a world, let's have a look back at this, where let's say Thieves were to win, go 5-4, but Furia, EG, and Leviathan were also to win. All of those 4 teams at 5-4, 100 Thieves would have the worst map count. So they would actually drop out with Sentinels in that scenario, despite having 5 wins and winning their final series. There's a low chance it happens, but, you know, could Leviathan beat Loud? Could EG beat NRG? Could Furia beat Sentinels? Absolutely yes. So 100 Thieves have definitely got to be concerned about that one. But fundamentally, they can only focus on their own game. Wanted to look at this as well from Hiko, because I've seen so many scenario calculators over the last few days and what's going to happen in certain situations. This is what I wanted to share, because there's 6 potential or even reasonably likely scenarios here that could occur, and I think this is a good way to look at what could happen. So let's just go through the options. Leviatan lose to Loud, 100 Thieves beat MIBR, NRG 2-0 EG, Sentinels 2-0 Furia. There'd be a 4-way tie, and Leviathan would qualify on map differential in this scenario. So that's one way that Sentinels can make it. There's another way that Sentinels can make it in 5th, if again NRG 2-0 EG, 100 Thieves would lose to MIBR in this case, and this time 100 Thieves fall out because Sentinels got the job done on map differential. Scenario 3, they also make it with EG beating NRG this time around, but 100 Thieves losing to MIBR, which is critical if that was to be the case. There's also 3 other scenarios where they would qualify, with Sentinels just needing to beat Furia and EG beating NRG and Leviathan beating Loud if MIBR were to beat 100 Thieves. So that's one way it could happen as well, and there'll be some big tiebreakers going on in these couple of scenarios also. So it's still possible, but as we say, they need to beat Furia, and even then they have slightly less chance than a coin toss to make it happen. But one of the things I find most remarkable actually is that Leviathan, despite starting out so well, if they lose against Loud, which they are likely to do, it's definitely the most likely outcome, they have a sub 50% chance to make it through. If they win, they qualify guaranteed. If they lose, they actually have a less than 50% chance to make it, because they'll be 4-5 at that point, and the other teams around them have a beneficial record against Leviathan because of a lot of their losses against those teams earlier in the season. So it's absolute madness. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just wanted to close out with this from Will Minder as well, a nice little tweet. Looking at the best players of the week, it's Ethan, it's Demon1 leading the line, Leaf of course here as well, Anardis and Victor as well, after that phenomenal series against Loud just a couple of days ago to break their streak. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.